una regala para mi suegra.
No, madame. Stop.
Oh, come on, here. I come all the way here.
No. No, madame.
I know. It is the best stuff I offer you.
Vamos a ver esta. No, gracias.
Set up and I'll shove you away. And Breck is very low. Let me pick up half the stuff anyway.
Look, I'm sorry. There is no point. There's no hope of getting it back. Look, I'll take it for you. Come and have a drink.
I'm only here for a couple of days anyway.
Well, you can always complain officially.
Officially? I've had all I ever want from officials, thank you very much. Especially the law.
Then perhaps I'd better cancel the drinks.
What? Are you a lawyer? Oh, no. Oh, God.
Well, I'm glad you can laugh. Look at your knee. If you want to complain, perhaps you'll need a witness. I'll give you my card, just in case.
Hey! Also from Paris.
Yes, and just like you, here on business.
Here? They use Parisian lawyers?
Oh, no, here I was looking for a present for a friend.
Hey, how about some of this?
Oh, come on. That's from Paris.
So? You still afford it in Tangier?
Mademoiselle? Mademoiselle Fouravik?
Yes? What do you want?
Please come to the office.
Why?
Please.
I'm a British subject.
If you will just come with me.
I've done nothing wrong.
I'm sure not, mademoiselle.
Well, then what is all this for?
You are on the list. We have to give you a message.
What message?
We don't like to discuss passengers.
You could have given me a message while I was in the line.
I'm only trying to do my job.
Are you entitled to withhold my passport?
I'm not withholding your passport.
Then give it to me.
There you are, but...
No buts.
But I must give you a message.
Give it to who you like. Give it to my lawyer.
But we don't know who they are.
Here.
I'm sorry, monsieur, but we cannot discuss a client's business over the telephone. Even if you are the British consulate. No, I'm sorry, I cannot reveal the whereabouts of a client either. Perhaps if you'd like to call, I'm sure Monsieur Bersac could be... Certainly. Yes, Monsieur Greenwood.
And what was all that?
You will have a visit from the British consulate.
Oh, dear.
Name of Greenwood at 3 o'clock.
Oh, dear. What about?
One of our clients.
Well, which one?
He never said.
Holmes seems very nice.
What?
After that hotel.
How do you expect to get orders when you give all your samples away,
I had an accident.
The whole trip was a disaster. This was all he could get.
The other suppliers are very powerful.
Do you know how much your plane ticket cost me?
Do you think I didn't try?
You said you knew people.
I do. They couldn't help me. Look, I did my best. Really. Now, what's new around here?
Oh, nothing. I want you to go round the new boutiques in Montparnasse.
I will.
Oh, there was a man looking for you.
Who?
I don't know. He said he was from your consulate.
What?
From the British consulate.
What are you up to?
Me?
Are you trying to get yourself a nationality?
He came here asking after you. I had nothing to do with it.
Well, what did you tell him?
For heaven's sake, what could I tell him? Me, a stateless person employing a foreign woman without a work permit.
You told him I was in Tangier.
And got rid of him.
And that I was due back.
Yes. Yes, I did. Look, Maria, things aren't easy.
Well, what did he say?
Would you get in touch with them?
Done nothing wrong.
Well, then you can ring him.
Officials never bring good news. If they want me, they will have to call again.
Don't get me into trouble.
Well, unfortunately, one cannot remember every client's name.
I would have thought that Virovic, or whatever it is, was uncommon enough.
Oh, yes, indeed. But you see, whatever business there was may have been handled by my partner.
I'm sorry, Maître, but I can't find any record of a Miss Maria Furuvic.
Oh, that's odd. And you say she claims that we are her lawyers?
I understand, sir. The man in immigration at Orleans said she was insistent that all business was to be conducted through you.
Very mysterious.
I have a photograph of her. Perhaps that might help.
Thank you. Ah, yes, that's a very attractive young woman. At Orly, you say, coming or going?
They're coming just back from Tangier.
From where?
Tangier.
Oh, then it is possible. She might be one of our clients. Of our other partner, Monsieur Ryan.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure I suppose it could be, but we've had no word.
Monsieur Ryan has been very busy in Tangier and just possibly forgot to let us know about this.
Well, is it possible to get in touch with Ryan?
Well, not immediately, I'm afraid. We expect him later this afternoon.
I see. Well, if she is his client, this Miss Furuvic, would you please tell him I'd be grateful if he'd contact me?
Certainly, Monsieur Ryan.
Thank you, mademoiselle.
And I'm sure we shall find that it is Monsieur Ryan who has acquired this attractive new client. How else would she have heard of this firm?
Oh, he was very busy in Tangier. No time for anything else, other than visiting the citrus farms and having interviews with the officials.
He cabled to say that he got the guarantees needed to make it worthwhile setting up the canning plant very shortly after getting there.
Possibly, but he still had a lot to do.
Including acquire Mademoiselle Furuvic.
As I might have expected, the afternoon spent gossiping away when I'm not here, and the front office completely unattended.
Good afternoon, Hugh, and I really don't know what you mean. Michelle and I were having a very important discussion about new clients.
Excellent. I'm delighted you've been expanding the business while I was in North Africa.
Expanding your business?
The new client is yours.
Well, I think I should be allowed to decide that.
But you already have.
I've opened a file.
I haven't taken on any new clients. But this doesn't make sense.
M. Furuvic, Greenwood, a British consulate called. No record.
That is correct.
What's the mystery?
We're hoping that you're going to solve it.
I don't know what either one of you are talking about.
Mademoiselle Furuvic, your new client, is just back from Tangier.
Is she?
Now, just a moment. You don't know any woman called Furuvic?
No?
Then we are very sorry. It was a sort of a joke. We thought you'd met a very pretty girl in Tangier and taken her on as a client without letting us know. Obviously, you haven't. Michelle, you better get on to the British consulate and tell them that Monsieur Ryan cannot help. They'll have to try that little jeweller's again.
What did you say?
It's all right, it's all right. It was just a joke.
Did you say jeweler?
Yes, I did, over in the 19th. It's the only connection that they have with her except for us.
Would this Maria Farovic be dark and quite pretty?
And just back from Tangier?
Oh, her?
Oh, that's Maria Farovic.
Oh, she was a girl I picked up at the...
Please, there is no need to explain.
No, literally, she'd fallen down.
At your feet?
Yes, she was bowled over.
That was some effect you had on her.
And I bought her a drink.
You, please, spare us the details. Save them for the British consulate.
Well, nothing at all about her.
You are not her legal advisor?
No.
Not even a close friend?
I met her the once.
Then I can't discuss her business with you. I'm sorry you've been troubled.
If she does claim to be a client, I suppose it could mean that she wants to be one.
Oh, she needs advice, certainly.
Well, then all that remains is whether we accept her. And we do.
A little unorthodox, but, you're sure?
Yes.
All right. We propose to take away her British nationality.
Well, can you do that?
Well, she's only British by naturalization.
Yeah, but why?
By his powers under Section 20, subsection 2. That's the one about getting yourself naturalized by fraud or false statements.
Fraud.
It could be anything. Family, criminal record.
Well, what can she do about it?
It's all in our Nationality Act of 48. She's entitled to an inquiry before the thing's finalized, but there is a time limit. Do sit down, won't you?
How much time has she got?
3 days.
3 days? Well, surely British justice allows more time than that.
We have been looking for her for some time.
What happens if all this goes through?
Well, she reverts to being a stateless person. Not the tidiest of arrangements.
I believe you have a Paris address for her.
Yes, I think I have somewhere. It's a one-man business, turning out modern jewelry. Oh, yes, here we are.
I'll try there.
Not much use, I'm afraid. Chap there said she only drops in now and then.
Well, let's hope that this is one of her nows. Thank you.
He had completely forgotten her name.
Ollie, that is your second aperitif.
Yes, I know it is. Well, I'm not in the court this afternoon, nor am I going to the office, so I can sleep if I want to. Poor Hugh. The picture of embarrassment when he realized it was the girl from the bazaar.
Names are always unimportant to men who pick up girls in the street.
Oh, Mary Tilde. We merely helped her after her accident.
Well, then why did you and Michelle make such a fuss about it?
But we didn't. It was just a bit of fun. I mean, I thought it would amuse you, otherwise I wouldn't have mentioned it.
Oh, I see. If you hadn't thought it so amusing, you wouldn't have told me.
You are twisting my words.
Well, I don't find Hugh's peccadilloes funny.
It was not a peccadillo.
Then what else was it?
Well, it was a humorous adventure with a very attractive girl.
You're getting very frivolous all of a sudden. Anyone would think you envied Hugh his North African indiscretion.
But I do, my dear, enormously.
Oh,
Almost as much as I envy you your imagination.
She was selling stuff just like this.
Was she?
And you say you don't employ her?
She can buy my stuff to sell any time she wants.
Well, she was looking for orders.
I'm not the only one making stuff like this, you know.
Does she live here?
No.
But she is a friend of yours.
I know her.
You refuse to help me.
Perhaps I can't.
Well, it's for her own sake. She is in trouble.
What sort of trouble?
Well, I would prefer to tell her personally. Can you tell me where I can reach her?
No.
Got you 3 big orders from those new places. They think they'll go with the longer line stuff. Some more days like today, and you'll be able to afford to take me out to dinner.
You'll have to go.
What?
There's trouble.
Kind of trouble?
They wouldn't say. Just trouble. I can't risk it.
Look, we've got to stick together.
Maria, we've played that scene.
And you're throwing me out.
For both our sakes.
Can I have 50 seconds to pack?
You're mixing it with officialdom. I can't risk it. Sort it out or get lost. The choice is yours. but it's not for me.
Kick harder, Gustav. You may hurt me yet.
The firm will pay my expenses.
Of course.
Can I have 2 extra days' holiday at some other time?
This is going to take you 1 day.
Don't I get any reward for being so amenable?
All right. You take the agreements to Tangier, get the growers to sign them, and post them back here once you return to Arles.
A favor for you. She's here. Your favorite client.
What are you talking about?
She sent you this.
Marie Ruby.
I knew your eyes would light up. We can't do this, Mademoiselle.
Hello. How's the knee?
Fine.
Oh, come on, take a seat. I'm glad you got my message.
From Gustav, yes. I suppose I shouldn't have done it. Or used your card like that at all. I have a loathing of petty officials. I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, then you're not angry.
No.
Why did you say I was in trouble?
Well, your consulate have been trying to find you.
More officials. I have to see them next year. My passport runs out then.
No, it isn't that.
Then what is it?
Well, they've been trying to get hold of you to tell you that you're about to lose your British nationality.
How?
They intend to take it away from you.
They can't. It was all settled a long time ago. It's the only nationality I've got.
I'm afraid it seems that they can take it away. However, there is something you can do.
Well?
Well, you can appeal against their decision.
I appeal. Now, this minute. You're a lawyer. You tell them. Please ask them. They can't do it.
Hold on a moment.
What's wrong? Can't you do it? Aren't you allowed to do something? Are these rules even for you?
Calm down, calm down. If you want to appeal, of course, we'll be delighted to act for you.
I do.
All right, then, sit down. We have to go into the facts. There's going to be an inquiry, and I have the impression that we'll have to come up with some very strong reasons to get them to change their minds.
Have you ever not had a country? Have you ever been told you can't belong? Have you been a stranger everywhere you go? Those are my reasons. I have been all that. And I will never be that again.
Very well. The suggestion is that you got your nationality by fraud.
That's not true.
Or by making a false statement.
What does that mean?
Well, that when you filled up your application form, you withheld the whole truth.
Oh, fine.
You did lie.
Not really.
I think you'd better explain.
Where from?
Wherever it's relevant.
At 10, I was sent to some English foster parents living in Rome, the Dobsons. At 14, I ran away to the south, where I lived. People said I was in moral danger, so they put me in a convent. At 16, I got out. And I met up with a Sicilian sailor who got me into Malta.
You landed illegally?
No, I just avoided the men in peaked caps who only noticed bits of paper. Is there a law against walking up a beach?
There may be.
I walk ashore with my suitcase on my head. I work, I keep myself. Is that like robbing a bank?
Well, if at a later stage you gave some wrong dates...
I landed when I said I did. I had to arrive that way, or I'd have been back with the nuns.
Then what happened?
After a couple of years, I was too old to be sent back to the convent. I found I could get a residence permit. I was working as an enameler at the time, and I stayed another 18 months or so.
Ever been married?
No. I was asked once or twice, but it never came to anything.
Why did you leave Malta?
I heard the Dobsons were going back to England from Rome, so I went to see them. I think he would have taken me, but Mrs. Dobson, she said no. She said it very loud and very often.
Did you go back to Malta?
No, I got ill. I was in hospital 5 or 6 months.
You were ill all that time?
Most of it.
Some sort of breakdown?
The usual pills, silence, basket work. Then I met up with some English hitchhikers and I went back to England with them. I still had my Maltese papers.
But when you decided to apply for British nationality, you juggled the dates a little.
I'd been in Britain a year. I'd been 3.5 in Malta. That's a British colony or something, anyway it counted. I was only 6 months short. And it didn't seem that important.
Excuse me, Monsieur Ryan. I would remind you that you are expected in number 56 in 15 minutes.
Oh, Michel, phone up, apologize and explain.
Of course. I'll say you're engaged.
Henri? Henri, it'll be for you.
It always is. Hello, 2635. Michel. Well, I'm afraid I don't know where my husband is just at the moment.
It wasn't Le Maître, but you I wanted, madame. I'm afraid Monsieur Ryan is very sorry, but he can't have lunch with you today. He has to take out a young lady.
What, another one?
Oh, no, madame. This is a client. She is a young lady, but her case is very complicated, and Monsieur Ryan thought it only fair to her to sort it out as soon as possible himself.
Oh, well, of course, if it's a client, that's quite different. Well, why don't you tell Hugh to bring her here to lunch? Then perhaps he and my husband can sort out the difficulties over a meal.
That's very kind of you, madame. I'm sure they'll be delighted.
We'll expect them in half an hour, then. Yes, goodbye.
Look, Hugh's coming to lunch. I hope you haven't asked a lot of others.
No. That was Michelle.
Oh.
Hugh is bringing a client. They want your advice. Apparently she has a serious problem.
Which of our clients has not?
Henri, cynicism does not become you.
Yeah.
I'm only too pleased that Hugh's doing some serious work again, after all his frivolity in Tangier.
That was a very important job that Hugh was dealing with in Tangier.
So important that he had plenty of time to pick up with strange women.
Reply paid cables to these people asking them the dates when Maria Ferovic stayed with them in Malta between August 1959 and October 61. One to this hospital in Rome, asking for dates in 1963 when she was unfit to leave or travel.
What about the case?
Oh, I'll call Greenwood after lunch. What's that?
It's hers. She has nowhere to stay. Won't you put her up?
Oh, well, one mustn't rush these things. Look, phone round, try and find a pension, but she hasn't got a great deal of money.
Don't you know what week this is?
Mauricio.
There won't be a spare room in Paris.
Yes, there will be. Yours.
Mine?
Well, yes, you're going to Tangier and then on holidays. I'm sure you wouldn't mind such an important client having the use of your apartment.
That was delightful, madame. It was kind of you to let me come.
Not at all. I'm only too pleased to have met you. And now that the men are out of the way, you can forget your legal problems and tell me all about yourself.
I hardly think that you would approve of me then.
Oh, I'm not as black as Hugh and Henri paint me, you know. Now tell me, your name, Ferovic? Is it Yugoslav?
No, I was given it at the camp.
The refugee camp?
Yes. Furovik is a small town in Sweden.
Oh, how dreadful.
They had to call us something.
You have no family?
None that I know of. I was found in an orphanage in Germany in 1945.
Oh, my dear child. And you've never married?
No. Well, I can earn my own living. At the moment, all I need is somewhere to live.
You need a room or an apartment?
A room is sufficient.
I apologize, Murphy. Your business took longer than it should.
Oh, but we haven't missed you at all. No, Miss Ferovic and I have been having a most interesting talk. Do you know that she has nowhere to live?
Well, that has been taken care of, I hope. Oh, Matthew, something I forgot to give you earlier. A present from Tangier.
Oh, my dear Hugh.
You spoil her. You get me into trouble.
What do you mean?
Well, whenever I fail to bring you back a present, you say I have no consideration for you.
Oh, Hugh. Oh, it's charming. All the way from Tangier.
Well, that's where I bought it.
Oh, but you must tell her. It was made by the man I work for here in Paris, and you bought it from me in Tangier.
From you?
Yes, I had an accident, and he was most kind to me.
You are the girl he met in Tangier?
Yes. He came to my rescue.
Yes, Hugh is so helpful. Will you have some coffee?
It'll have to be then. Yes, we will start the inquiry the day after tomorrow. I know it doesn't give Mr. Ryan much time, but, oh yes, no, there's nothing in the regulations to prevent it lasting over a day or two. As the inquiry is being held in Paris, the Home Office has asked me to take the chair myself. It'll be here. Yes. Thank you, mademoiselle.
I'll pass on all you say. Yes, Monsieur Greenwood. It's the day after tomorrow. Greenwood is taking it himself.
I suppose he had to at such short notice.
Oh, never mind. I'm sure that by working through the night, you can build up a strong case.
Michel, you are going to Tangier at the beginning of your holidays.
Well, you know I am. I changed my arrangements specially for you.
Well, I'm sure you wouldn't mind doing another job. After all, the firm is paying 2 days' expenses.
Some more citrus farmers?
And know some people called Dobson. I want you to call on them. They used to be foster parents to Maria Farubic.
Any job for her, sign this.
I want you to find out what they're like, how they react to Maria, that sort of thing. What's this?
Just a document admitting liability for any damage done to my property by your client whilst living at my apartment.
Well, it was you who asked her.
I asked him to bring a client, not his latest... I mean, he picks up this woman in Morocco and thinks he can introduce her into our house.
But Mademoiselle Farubic is a client.
Farubic, what a name. She might as well call herself Mademoiselle Colombet les Deux Églises.
Oh, that would have a certain distinction.
And don't laugh at me.
Really, Tilda, you are ridiculous. You know, perhaps you got on very, very well with her during lunch and after.
Just shows how cunning she is.
But she couldn't have been more open with us.
You should have seen her face when I asked if she was married.
Yes, well, any woman of 30 would feel a little embarrassed.
Just take care with this Scandinavian fishing village. She's made a fool of you. You just see that she doesn't do the same to you.
I really had no intention of putting Mr. Dobson through all this trouble.
Oh, you mustn't let it worry you.
Did Mademoiselle Farubic come and see you when she was here?
Oh, naturally.
She often comes?
Only when she wants something. Then we can be sure that Maria will be in touch.
Surely there's more than that. You and your husband are, well, the nearest thing she has to a family.
Well, we seem to be useful. As a bank and as a free hospital. And there's an occasional hotel.
She was staying with you?
This time she merely called.
So this time it was just to see you?
Well, she expected us to give her some introductions. So that she could sell her cheap beads here.
And you couldn't?
One hardly chooses native stallholders to be one's best friends.
Perhaps she thought you might know some of the bigger suppliers.
Well, if she thought I'd let her show her stuff to Jimmy O'Garty, or even Arthur Brightwell, who seems to supply most of the people around here, she needs to think again.
Why?
Bernard and I have some position here.
I really think it's about time you gave me a hand, Nora.
Oh, you're so efficient. Especially where Maria's concerned.
I'm so sorry I haven't been able to find anything yet, but I will. I've brought this case of yours, Nora, for you to look through. Might be something in it. Not her letters or something.
Anything, really, just to prove she was in Malta for those 2 years.
I can't think why she's so keen to hang on to her British nationality. Apart from the year when she had to, she's never lived in England.
Perhaps when one has no country, any nationality is precious.
Possibly so. Possibly so. I can't help thinking one should show some loyalty. Some sense of decency. After all, it was very good of the Home Office to grant her naturalization in the first place. I mean, she's never shown the slightest indication that she deserved it. Quite the contrary, in fact.
Really? What?
The list is endless.
Nora, there's no need to drag up all that past history. You'll have Mademoiselle Corbon believing that Maria ought to be in jail or something.
Oh, you'll never let anyone say anything against Maria.
Well, I'm afraid I haven't been able to find anything. But she never wrote very much. She was very good about birthdays, that sort of thing. Oh, have you found anything in her?
You know, even when she did write, she never said anything.
Have you?
I'll be very surprised if we still have any of her little scribblings.
You mean you threw them away?
Possibly.
I'm sorry. It really does look as though we can't help.
Can you think of anything to show she was in Malta for those 2 years?
No, nothing at all.
I see. Well, thanks for looking.
Well, you mustn't go yet. Have a drink before you go. Please.
That's very kind, but...
Oh, but you must. After all, you are trying to help Maria. And you mustn't think we're not grateful to you for that. Indeed, no. I only wish there was something we could do to help.
Oh, I'm sure you'll think of something.
How long are you in Tangier?
I leave tomorrow.
Oh, well, you must stay here. Nora and I would be absolutely delighted, wouldn't we?
Well, that's very kind of you, but I have a hotel booked and paid for.
Oh, what a pity.
Then you must let us show you the town. And Nora can point out the sights. She's very good at that sort of thing. And then after a tour, a couple of drinks, and a meal. How's that sound, huh?
Thank you, but I really should get back to the hotel and send a cable.
Oh, well, you can always do that on the way.
I don't think I'll come, thank you.
Why not?
I don't really feel up to it. One of the familiar sights of this town is something I'd rather not see.
We'll take the car. You mustn't let Nora upset you. It's the heat, you know.
Hello. You're English?
And over there on a clear day, you can see Jib.
I see. Does Maria Peruvic often come to see you?
No, not really. Look there, they say that's supposed to be 11th century.
But you are her foster parents.
Well, I mean, after all, Maria's she's a big girl now. In any case, something happened. Oh, the people who live in that villa, they're quite remarkable.
What happened?
What?
You said something happened.
Oh, it was too silly, really. Nora and Maria fell out. There's a place near here with some quite marvellous mosaics. I know you'll love them. Hey.
It's very beautiful.
Yes. Quite remarkable how they've achieved it. I mean, you feel that. Run your hand over it. It's quite extraordinarily smooth.
Maria quarrel about?
It doesn't matter, really.
I thought it might help her if we knew.
God knows, just a spot of bother. Maria came to stay with us. She and Nora got on each other's nerves.
Was it recently, this was?
Oh, Lord, no, it was what, 5 years ago. Maria came to stay with us to get over a shock.
A man?
It's to be expected. She's a very pretty girl. I've always believed in freedom of feeling. Always. You see, if an affinity grows between two people over a period of time, and they find a special release being with each other, then I don't think society has any right to interfere.
Mrs. Dobson found you.
Nora didn't understand. The poor girl had had a terrible shock. She came to me for comfort.
What shock?
Well, firstly, Patterson walking out on her like that, and then losing her baby.
Patterson was her lover.
Oh, no, he married her. He was her husband.
This inquiry is convened under Section 20 of the British Nationality Act. The Home Office is represented by Mr. Anthony Harper. Mr. Hugh Ryan represents Maria Peruvic. I am chairman of this inquiry. My name is James Stewart Greenwood. The other members are Alfred Thomas, a lecturer in social studies at the Sorbonne, and William Briggs, general manager of BEE Export Division. Any objections?
No.
Good. Mr. Harper.
Mr. Chairman, I have here the form upon which Maria Peruvic applied for naturalization in 1964, with some copies. It appears that the dates given for residence in Malta are not in fact correct.
How did this matter arise?
It was reported.
As my client, Maria Peruvic, has not been involved in any activity which would call for an inquiry into her status at this time, is this perhaps a private accusation?
I'm not prepared to comment on that.
Is the accuser to be called?
No.
Well, may we ask for the identity of the accuser?
Mr. Ryan, I think you'll have to draw your own conclusion.
Well, surely malice is irrelevant. If all this has come about through some personal grudge, it could mean
That is not so. All we're concerned with is the truth of this report. Mr. Harper.
It was Laura Dobson, wasn't
Please.
it? It must be her.
This is a woman who will be referred to during the inquiry.
Had she any reason to feel malice?
It seems Maria Verubic was not in Malta as claimed, merely for a year and a half.
That's not true.
This would be strongly rebutted. My client was on the island for a full 2 years prior to her entry being recorded.
Are you going to explain how she arrived?
Yes, and I feel certain that when this fact and others are properly understood, this hearing must be sympathetic to her situation.
The sympathy is one thing, Mr. Ryan, but a good case under the Act...
We believe we've got that too.
Well, if he's not at the office, then I don't know where he is. Hugh? Well, no, he's at some inquiry. Yes, the Verubic woman. Oh, just a moment. Where were you? Here's this call from Tangier.
I was in the garden.
I searched everywhere. It's Michelle.
Except the garden. Hello, Michelle. Now, what are you doing, wasting the company money like this?
No, she says it's very important. She even rang the office.
Just a minute, Michelle. Will you please be quiet? How can I possibly hear Michelle? Tangier is a long way away. Yes.
I can have my client describe certain events which occurred throughout those preliminary 2 years which can prove without any doubt that she was living on the island during that time.
Even had she been there to be naturalized, you also need good character.
Well, her references as to good character were not called in question when she was granted naturalization.
Countries are not keen on illegal immigrants.
Mr. Chairman, Maria Verubic has withstood a great deal of hardship in her life. Refugee and displaced persons camps. She has shown courage, initiative and self-reliance. She has learned a trade, a craft even. What is there against this? Entry into Malta without, as she puts it, going past the men in peak caps? Is this enough to destroy a whole character?
6 months of her claimed 4 years were spent in Rome.
Her desired residence was Malta. She was detained in hospital.
For 4 weeks. After that, she was fit to travel.
Physically, maybe, but emotionally, I doubt it. She had just been rejected by her foster parents.
From whom she ran away at the age of 14.
Under stress. Provocation.
Mr. Ryan, is it your case that your client is emotionally unstable?
No, certainly not. She's a very responsible citizen.
Responsible?
When she walked up the beach in Malta, she was only 16.
When she signed this form, she'd passed her 23rd birthday.
Bits of paper. Always bits of paper. Birth certificates, travel certificates, death certificates.
Miss Verubic, you are here to try and keep a bit of paper saying that you're a British subject. Yes, come in. Excuse me. Oh, this is for you, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask for a recess.
I will grant one of 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, is that essential?
I think it is. Tony, that note, which in fact I shouldn't have read, seems to indicate there is some information which may totally alter this case. In the interests of justice, I must allow Mr. Ryan to collect this information.
What is this information?
Like you, I await eagerly to hear. Miss Verubic, if you prefer, you may wait in the corridor with your lawyer.
Thank you.
Well, I suggest we all have a cup of coffee while we wait. The tea here's filthy.
Must get him to recess until tomorrow.
Harper will never agree.
But you must try.
What has happened?
Mademoiselle Verubic, you've been less than honest with us.
Michelle has discovered that you have been married.
How did she?
Were you?
No.
And to an Englishman.
It was struck out. Cancelled as if it never happened.
My dear, for your own sake, you must explain.
Charles Patterson and I were married at 4 o'clock on July 14, 1965. At 11:30 that same evening, he left me in room 705 of the Palace Hotel, Brussels. We have not seen each other since.
Why did he leave you?
Because I told him I was pregnant.
By him?
Do we have to go into this?
Do you want to stay British?
I was pregnant, and by another man. I had tried to tell him before, but I was afraid. When I told him that evening, he hit me and left. The next day, he proceeded to have our marriage cancelled. A few weeks later, the lawyers had it declared null and void. It was not over. It had never existed.
You won't want any further delays after tomorrow morning?
No.
How are you others fixed?
Well, I can cancel my flight to London this evening. But I do feel we should be given some indication as to the nature of these new facts.
I regret, but in the best interests of my client, I cannot disclose these facts until I've had a chance to have them fully confirmed.
Well, then, shall we say midday tomorrow?
And by virtue of that annulled marriage, you can demand to be registered as a British subject.
But if you had British citizenship and lost it, then you're not eligible.
You mean if I lose at this inquiry?
Yes. So if we use this annulled marriage to make sure of your citizenship, you must register before the hearing resumes.
Just like that?
Yes, and by midday tomorrow. You'll need your ex-husband's birth certificate, the marriage certificate, and the annulment papers.
But I've only got the annulment papers.
Not even a marriage certificate?
No.
I'll call a colleague in London. Try and have some copies sent over.
Do you think they'll get here in time?
They'd better. This inquiry is not coming down in your favor.
Tomorrow morning. Yes, to register British subject. Well, we apologize for the very short notice, but... oh, thank you. Yes, 11:30 would suit us admirably. Thank you.
Don't tell me there isn't much time. I know it. Try higher up. Explain that these certificates are vital. Start waving that old school tie. Two days? Oh, come on. What time does the office open in the morning? Well, then be there. And get those certificates on a plane to Paris. I must present them here by noon tomorrow.
Where is he?
Well, he should be on his way from the airport now.
Suppose the papers weren't on the plane.
My dear, you and I in for a rather awkward time.
Come in.
Thank you.
Come in, Mr. Bersac.
Good morning.
You have the client for registration with you?
Yes.
Well, then.
I wonder if perhaps we could just run through the procedure.
Oh, it's very simple. As we are a little behind time, if you'd just bring him in.
Of course, sir. Would you come in, please?
No, Miss Peruvic. Monsieur Bersac's other client. We shall be ready for you in just a short while.
It is she who is registering.
I don't follow you. Miss Peruvic is under inquiry to forfeit her citizenship.
Not until midday.
Mr. Bersac, I hope this won't be the cause for professional complaint. I don't quite understand your tactics.
Miss Peruvic is claiming her right under Section 6 of the Nationality Act to be registered as a British subject. She was married to an Englishman.
Married?
She was. Unfortunately, for various reasons, this was not known until yesterday.
You can prove the facts?
Oh, but of course. You will see the documents.
Well, shall we sit down?
Thank you. one of the failings of our profession to spend too much time on our feet.
Quite. Is this marriage still in existence?
No, it was annulled.
Annulled?
But it was not a marriage that was void from the beginning.
You realize the reasons for annulment are crucial?
Oh, but of course. But this is one that could be cancelled by the husband if he took action within a year of the marriage ceremony.
I see. Pregnancy, disease, or unsound mind?
Pregnancy.
Can I see the papers of annulment?
Oh, but of course. You will see that for a short time there was a marriage in existence, which brings my client within the act as someone who has married a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies.
The marriage has been annulled, not merely ended, as with divorce.
Yeah. May I quote you from the standard authority? Now then, let me see. Ah, yes. It would seem that for this purpose, a voidable marriage is analogous to divorce and can give citizenship.
May I look at that? And can I see the marriage certificate?
Well, the fact is...
Mr. Bersac, I must see the marriage certificate and the husband's birth certificate.
But of course, they are on their way here.
Without those certificates, I cannot give any kind of ruling on this matter. And as you see, the time is coming up to midday.
Mr. Greenwood, my partner is at this moment on his way from the airport with those papers. This young lady has been married to an Englishman and claims her right to citizenship.
She forfeits that right if at any time she has had her British nationality taken away.
Ah, now you speak as one with security of knowing always who you are and where you belong.
Come in.
Good morning. I'm sorry there was a traffic jam at Gatherless.
I think that Monsieur Rahn has the papers for us.
Mr. Greenwood.
Well, unusual methods, gentlemen, but an unusual case. Will you please stand to take the oath of allegiance?
I'm very flattered that you should wish to spend this evening with us.
Why, Matthew?
I thought perhaps you might want to be celebrating with the young lady from Tangier.
She had a previous engagement.
Ah, a fickle heart.
Not at all. Now that she feels really secure in her British nationality, she's decided to marry her jeweler.
Poor Hugh.